again, if in like 10 years this ends up being
No,
correct,
no, we're not. We're not doing that.
and then at the very end of the game, like Goofy and Donald rush in, and they're
Oh.
in like hyper realistic looking detail, and they look like really weird deformed furries, and you just end up
What
going up there,
rabbit
and
hole are you going down? Come back into the light.
I'm calling it. Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Retro and Remastered podcast. As always, I'm here to host. My name is Snitchesz, and we got my co-host K-Ray. How you doing, K-Ray?
What up? What up? I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So what you been up to?
A whole lot of nothing, to be honest. For the people out there, since you probably don't know who I am, and probably got a select few that do know who I am, I got a YouTube channel, and right now the strike gods had me on a little timeout. So, as far as creating content goes, I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs. Besides that, been playing Marvel's Avengers and procrastinating on beating The Last of Us 2. What about you?
Mostly just been editing. I got done with the first video that we recorded. Just waiting on a few things just to come in so that I can add them to it. For me, I've mostly been playing, Tony Hawk. I don't know why you don't want to jump in on that.
It's kind of like me. Well, I mean, you can probably use this against me because I got UFC. But before UFC 4, I haven't played a fighting game in I don't know how long. The same thing goes for Mr. Hawk. I know it's some nostalgia there. I don't know. I feel like I get it, and I'll probably play it for like a few hours, and then it'll sit there and collect digital dust.
To be fair, that's every game, though.
I mean, Ghost of Tsushima didn't collect digital dust. I got on that and stayed on that forever. I mean, now it's in the paradise, but it's been completed already.
That one's on my list. Like, I ended up putting it down because a bunch of other stuff came out. And
shame.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good. I really like it, but I'm still like in that first area for it. I think I just got like the hook, so I'm not super far into it at all.
Wow.
Don't judge me. Like,
everybody listening out there, just write "wow" in the comments. Just wow with some dots.
Just say you need to get with the Hawk.
If
you disagree with him.
Yeah, you're probably.
We all know. Like, I don't know what our age demographic for this thing is gonna be, but if you're over the age of 30 at this point, or pushing close to 30, you have some history with the Hawk series.
Yeah, they're probably gonna eat me up in the comments. Like, you don't play the Hawk? Hey! I played it back then, all right, when it was original.
See, here's something I'll say about like Tony Hawk and all that. Like, I get that he's really important to the skateboarding scene. I get that his games are super influential and they're a lot of fun. If you ever have to listen to that man talk, it is the most boring thing you will ever listen to. It's like he doesn't get excited for anything, which is really bad. When I don't know if he still has it. He used to have a radio show on Sirius XM. And when I used to have to like drive at night and I had like an hour between stops, I couldn't listen to that show because I was afraid I would veer off into the road because I fell asleep. But no disrespect to him. I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's actually a lot of fun that they have Tony Hawk and then you have one of his sons as one of the skaters you can play as also. So that's kind of like a neat little thing for a game that's like 20 years apart from one another now.
Yeah, I'll watch you stream it.
I haven't streamed that yet.
I know.
I don't want to
stream it. I will watch it.
How's this sound? When you go ahead and pick it up and we can go ahead and play some multiplayer in it.
Oh, wow. I mean, you probably ain't gonna never play it then.
All right. Well, let's just go ahead and get into the topic this time. I don't want another 2-hour video I gotta edit.
Why not? I mean, you're so good at it. You know what I love?
I'll have to edit this video?
Yeah, that you're doing the editing. I love it. I mean, I am over here, I do want to edit. I am glad you're taking the reins on this one. I appreciate you for that. You serving your country well.
Wow. Okay. So let's just go ahead and get into the topic for this one. If you guys listened to last week's episode or last day, I don't know how often I'm going to put these things out. If you listened to the last episode, we did a top 5 most underrated games. Now, since we did that, we're going to now talk about top 5 most overrated games. And just as like a general rule, I don't want this to be misconstrued with bad. Like, with the exception of one game on this list, or my list, I wouldn't call most of them bad. It's just ones that I just constantly hear every person, like if you ask them to recommend a game for like a system or anything like that, it's always on the list. And I'm just tired of hearing it. At least that's how I came with my list. I mean, everything could be horrible on yours for all I know.
It was kind of hard for me to come up with this list. I was drawing blanks outside the initial three.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I'm like, the games I get, I like. So I don't really play any game. I don't know. I don't know. I would have to like sit and actually like talk to 1,001 people to come up with a list of
Oh, well, I basically
overrated.
just went to IGN and anything that showed up on their top 10 list more than once, I just went ahead and added. No, I'm kidding. I didn't do that.
I looked on Google to like look for some stuff, like to give me some ideas, and
Mm-hmm.
even that I was like, I like this game. What are they talking about?
Well, I mean, I like
So
some of the games on this list. Like I said, on my like five, there's really only one that I just really dislike. And it's actually my first one on here, so let's just go ahead and jump into this then. So the reason this one's actually at the bottom is because I know when it first came out, it was super lauded. Like everybody I talked to seemed to love this game, and I just felt like I was the odd man out. Like every person liked it, everyone said it was great. And then when I played it, I was like, are we playing the same game here?
oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Well, as time has gone on, I think there's kind of become this like more divide. Like it apparently falls under lines of either you think it's the worst game ever made or it's one of the best ones. I just think it kind of falls in the middle. I don't think it's well written. I don't like the characters in it. I don't think it plays that well. And that game's Life is Strange, the first one.
Oh no, no. Well, I can't really say it's either because I only played at least probably like 2 hours of it, and I think it was my ad libs and extra commentary during gameplay that made the game even better to me. But I
Well, I
haven't like
mean,
beat it though, so.
I did the same thing. Like, here's the thing, like, I'll make fun of a game as I'm playing it, but there's like a certain level of it where when I realize I'm doing it and that's the only enjoyment I'm getting, that kind of causes my little issue with it. Like, here's the thing, I actually really like the main character. I think her name is Max. I actually think she's a pretty decent character. I like the other girl. She's the one that you might be able to save from jumping off the roof. I don't know if you actually fail at that or not.
I
And
don't know what you're talking about, but continue.
but like it's just one of those things like and anytime I've tried to complain about it, it's basically, the arguments people always give me is it's like, well, you weren't a high school girl. Well, you're right. I was not a high school girl. I was a high
Hmm.
school boy. I was like a punk rock kid for the most part. So I to an extent you could say I would like relate to Chloe, but I thought Chloe in general was just kind of a, garbage person who I wouldn't have enjoyed hanging out with in high school because like the moment Max stops giving her any attention, like gets a phone call, Chloe starts getting angry. And I get that there's like this one scene. I guess the implication is that her stepdad like hits her and abuses her and whatnot. But the thing is, if you can rewind time and that scene doesn't happen, then it makes me wonder, if the abuse is actually abuse and not Chloe just kind of being like a bratty kid and him just kind of losing his temper and smacking. I'm not trying to defend that, but there's this great scene in the first episode of it where the stepdad comes in, he's like a security guard and one of his guns has gone missing and he
Oh yeah,
accuses
yeah, yeah.
Chloe of taking it. And then you make it to the second episode and you're in the junkyard and yeah, Chloe took the gun. So it's like, I'm sorry, I don't feel bad. In fact, I laughed really hard whenever she's like practicing shooting and she's like hitting the tin cans and it ricochets off a car and she like shoots herself.
Hmm.
And it's like, oh, I gotta rewind time and save this. And then like you gotta prove to her later on, it's like, oh yeah, I can rewind time. So she throws a bunch of stuff on the table from her pockets, and I'm like, okay, I'll spend 30-ish seconds memorizing what's here. It's like, okay, here's some change, here's some cigarettes, here's some things like that. And then it's like, okay, I'm good, I got it all memorized. And then it's like, all right, so how many cigarettes were in that pack? It's like, God, I was like, damn it. No. And it's just in general there the one time I felt for Chloe in that game was you get this new ability that I don't think they ever hint at in it. They might have, I just might not have been paying attention. But if she looks at like a photograph, she can go back in time to when that picture was taken. And it's, since all the issues happened with Chloe when her dad died, you save her dad from dying. but then she gets into a car accident and ends up like as a quadriplegic.
I
And
I got
huh?
my mouth is like dropped right now. Oh, wait, what? All that happens?
And like it eventually comes down to the thing. She's like, well, I want to, help my family and save the financial burdens. So you choose whether or not you want to Kevorkian her and like, pull the plug.
Mm.
I'm not gonna lie, that was one of the most difficult decisions in the game. Not because it's like, oh my god, am I gonna kill your friend? It's because I dislike Chloe that much that I wasn't sure if I wanted to finally see her like die, or if leaving her in that situation would have been better for me. Like I would have gotten like more enjoyment. I pulled the plug. I'm not that horrible of a monster, but then you just reset everything anyway, so none of that mattered. And it's like, you finally get through, you finish it, and it's, comes down to this situation of do you choose to stay with Chloe, but the entire town gets destroyed, or do you save Chloe? Or, I'm sorry, yeah, do you choose to save Chloe and the entire town gets destroyed by like angry tornado? Or do you go back to the very beginning of the game and let Chloe die? I figured that was the correct answer. I don't know if it's not. I think the second game hints that you're supposed to let Chloe live, but I just didn't see that being the right answer because like she's died like 6 times in the process of like me playing through these games, maybe more. I just stopped caring. So I'm like, I just go back and we save her, and then she probably dies like 20 minutes after I make the decision to save her. So I don't see the point in any, given circumstance. But I will say this, I don't know about Before the Storm. Again, it's a game where I'm playing as Chloe, and if I didn't like Chloe, why would I want to play a game as her?
Makes
And
sense.
I watched a few people stream Life is Strange 2. It seems to be a little bit better, but still not quite my thing. But I think it's like Super Awesome or Captain Awesome. You play as like a little boy,
Yeah.
and it's just this little like 1 hour, hour and a half long game. That was actually kind of neat. I really liked following that for it. And then when you finish it, it's like, oh, he'll appear in Life is Strange too. And I was like, that's cool. I'm not going to play it. But that's basically it. I don't want to say Life is Strange on its own is a bad game. There was nothing in it that appealed to me. Like I said, I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the story. I didn't like the gameplay for it. And I'm someone that grew up on point and click adventure games, so I love a good adventure game.
Hmm.
The murder as a joke, I guessed who it was. And
Don't
when I
tell me.
actually that's really all I got to say about Life is Strange.
That makes sense. I will do more comedy. Probably sitting there like, hey, the other guy's not saying anything. That's because I only played like a little over 2 hours, I believe. So I can't go deep into it. But I like this so far. So we shall see when I actually go back and play it if I feel like it's overrated or not.
Oh, okay. This is the only thing. There's the character that I said that jumps off a building.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was kind of becoming my thing. Is they make it clear that if she overuses her power, then it causes nosebleeds and she passes out. And that's kind of like the MacGuffin they do to put you in
Yeah.
situations that become, really difficult where you can't just go, oh, I'm going to reset time. And it's usually because Chloe makes you abuse your powers over really dumb stuff. Or
Yeah.
in the case of like, why can't I reset time to save her from falling? And I actually got to remember her name. Oh, maybe I should have just knocked on the door to this person's like room and just told them to give me my shit rather than rewind time 4 or 5 times to solve this puzzle to guess who they were or something like that. Or just saying, hey, get off the stairs so that I can walk through this door rather than rewinding time to break a bucket to have the guy carry up to drop paint on her.
Okay.
Maybe this situation would be less dire if I just didn't do really stupid stuff. Or maybe if I just chose not to rewatch that scene of Chloe getting shot a bunch of times, but that's just me.
Hey, she's a high school girl.
She is.
So hey,
Hey,
there goes
I
your
had to watch a
explanation.
video to confirm that they were in high school because I was like, I went to like a pretty much a normal public school, and I know they're at like some boarding school. I thought she was like a college student just because I forget that there are actual like prep schools that people send their kids off
Yeah,
to.
yeah, their school was massive though.
Hmm.
I guess I'll jump in with mine. I think this franchise, this game, is overrated. A lot of people still play it today, and I'm pretty sure you probably already guessed it. I'm talking about good old COD, Call of Duty. I
You're
feel like
gonna make some people
after,
angry here.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, you can't please them all, right? Can't please them all. But after, let me see, Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops, either one, I think one or two, I feel like it just nosedive. Just nosedive right to the bottom. Like, it's nothing new in these games. It's the same game, and I know y'all probably gonna be like, "But we got the gulag. We got the gulag." Nobody care about the gulag. Like, I remember a time when they start jacking stuff from Battlefield, and Battlefield is I mean, you can couple that in with Call of Duty. Uh,
Hey, hey,
Battle,
hey, hey, hey,
hey,
hey, hey.
Battlefield was amazing. Listen, was amazing. You had Bad Company that was fire. I think even up to Battlefield 4, I believe. Then the rest was like, what are y'all doing? What are you doing? It's nothing new. It's nothing innovative. Your online sucks. Well, there's so much bugs and people glitching and falling underneath the maps and killing people. Call of Duty, the whole franchise. I feel like they just need somebody needs to like waterboard it. Sorry.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Like I can say this, I don't have a ton of experience with the Call of Duty games. I played whichever one was the launch game during the when the 360 came out. I think that was Call of Duty 2, 2 or 3. It was when it was still World War II. And yeah, I know they did a World War II one a couple of years ago. Nobody played it
And why did they go back to World War II?
because people were tired of the modern stuff.
No,
Like
because Battlefield went back. It's like, oh, people playing that. Let me go back. Like, no, stop it, stop. I'm sorry. I'm tired of that game. I got the Call of Duty 3 on the PS3 as well.
hmm
And when I first played it, I was like, yo, I was just tripping off the smoke. I was like, yo,
hmm
look at the smoke. That looks so real. So I ended up playing that, and then got to the Modern Warfare's, Modern Warfare 1, 2, and then the Black Ops, I think 1 and 2, and I was like, yo, this is dope. Then I switched over to like Battlefield, played some Battlefield Bad Companies. Then I played, I don't remember which the other Battlefield, I think it was 3. It might
hmm
have been 3. And then played 3 when I was serving in the military in Kentucky, then played 4 when I was in Georgia. Those were like the golden age, pretty much. I felt like what they did then, ever since then, has been copy and paste. Like new game, let's slap a different name on or a different time period on it, same game. I wish they
And
just either stop it or go back to the drawing boards and like just recreate it.
I will admit I did get sucked into the hype for the new Call of Duty when that launched, where I guess where it's just like a straight up reboot. I don't know. I didn't play enough of the other ones to know what's different between them. And, the multiplayer was pretty fun. I'm not a fan of Warzone.
You don't like the Gulag?
I don't like the Gulag. I hate the Gulag. Here's the thing, I could tolerate the Gulag. Gulag was just like GoldenEye, 1v1 fighting on the N64. I am fine with the Gulag. I hate everything you have to do to get put into the Gulag. I hate this isn't even on the list, but it might as well have been. Like, I am not a fan of battle royale games at all.
Thank you. Me either. That
I
is on my list. But continue.
I just can't do them. Like, I find them to be boring. Either, if I want to be like hyper aggressive, I'm probably going to get picked off by a guy in the distance,
Mm-hmm.
or I do really well and I'm just sneaking around. I maybe encounter one or two people, and they're just boring to me. I can't do it. And I tried Warzone. I had friends that really wanted to do Warzone because that was the free mode, and just my God, no, I hated it.
Yeah, I feel like
And
that's another thing about the copying thing. Like everybody trying to cash in on these battle royales. So I'm like, oh, y'all too.
they've got their different things for it. And really what killed me with the new Call of Duty is that I feel sorry for any people who have like an original Xbox One or something like that, because if you're playing Call of Duty, that is literally the only game you can have on that system. Because I know on our PS4 it's like over 150 gigs, and I think at one point it was over 200 on the Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you like Call of Duty, because that literally will be the only thing you're playing.
Nah, that's a no for me. That's a no. We got a buzzer or anything, sound cue. It's a no. Like I'm not doing it. I wish, and I know I got friends that play Call of Duty. I used to be, one of the guys in Call of Duty way back in the day, but
hmm
now it's like, yo, oh, it's tired. Let it go to sleep. Put it to bed. I
Well,
feel like it's so overrated now. I feel like it's just a name. It's just Call of Duty, and they get it just because of that, not because it's good.
Well, I know you brought up just a little bit ago, like you were playing it when you were in the, what'd you say, Army?
No, I was playing Battlefield, but yeah.
Well, that was the thing, like, because I grew up in a town, like, right there by a military base. Like, it survived because of the military base. So most of the people I knew and I hung out with were either their parents were military or they were military themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I didn't know a lot of people in the military who actually played Call of Duty. And, whenever I would ask them about it, they usually said it was something to do with, like, they want escapism and, a military shooter is not what you want to play when you're in the military.
Yeah, it depends. Like I had some friends in the military that was like, I'm good. And then I had some that was like on Call of Duty like religiously, and I'm like, bro, come up for air. Like you good? Like me, like I think I was playing like what was I playing? I don't remember exactly what games I was playing, but I do remember when I clicked on Battlefield 3 and I actually like got in the groove of everything and I started playing with like my brother online. I was like, yo, all right, this is the one. Like, I was spending a lot of time, the little bit of time I did have, but playing it, and I was like, this was refreshing because it was new. It was like real, actual. Like I felt like it was more real compared to Call of Duty. Y'all just running and gunning. The guns don't have no kickback. Like it wasn't no bullet drops. It was nothing. And then y'all like it's sponges. Like I shoot the person like 80 times and you don't drop. And then you
Wait,
shoot me
do you
twice.
mean to tell me that if you get shot 5 times and you hide behind that wall, you just suddenly aren't feeling better a few seconds later? That's not how that works.
No. I mean, I think both have those elements in there,
Yes.
but I don't know. Battlefield felt real. Like got someone in the scope, and I gotta position the gun higher because I know the
Hmm.
bullet's gonna drop to hit him. And then I love the destructiveness of him. Like you hiding in the building. Okay, I'm gonna shoot the building now. There you
Well,
go. There you go.
I'll say this when it came to Battlefield. For the longest time, the general rule with Battlefield was the game will be good when the next one comes out. They'll fix all of the bugs, they'll fix all of the problems, they'll fix all of the online issues by the time the next one comes out. You'll have a perfect game when that happens.
I think 3 was pretty good. 4, on the other hand, no.
I
I
don't
got it, and then I didn't play it forever because it was so buggy. I'm like, this is horrible. And then, like, when they did fix it, I had to, like, be convinced for, like, months to actually get back on it. Then when I finally got back on it, I'm like, all right, they fixed it. Then it was enjoyable. But I'm like, why would it take that long?
Battlefield 1 was good though.
Yeah,
The World War One one. I
yeah,
actually had a lot of fun with that one.
I did too until they nerfed my shotty. But whatever, you know.
There was a guy on Twitter that he was saying like there has never been a good shotgun in any game at any given point or whatever. It's like it's a no skill weapon. They're just anything like that. And I was like, what is this guy talking about? And I look at him, I was like, oh, you're in like your maybe at most early 20s and you're a Call of Duty champion. Yeah, shotgun sucks in Call of Duty. I can see how that's the only thing that matters to you. Because
Yeah,
I
because
grew up during like the height of boomer shooters and things like that. So, your Doom, your Quakes, Redneck Rampage. Currently, one of my favorite games is Dusk, which has a great set. Like, you get multiple shotguns in it. Like, my favorite is you get basically the Arnold shotgun from Terminator 2.
is that
And you
the
get
spas?
I forget. I don't know guns just near enough for it. It's the one that's got the little lever action
Yeah, I
to.
think it's the spas.
But like, what's great is you get two of them, and whenever you fire them, they basically do like the Arnold shotgun twirl to reload each time. I just sat there and I was like, oh, and Blood had like probably one of my favorite shotguns in any game. It's a double barrel. You fire off either one barrel or both of them, and he reloads. He's a cowboy, so of course he reloads it quickly, and it's just so much fun to use. And just when I saw that tweet, I was like, bro, like, what are you talking about? Like, I think my exact words were like, "Baby bird, what hurt you? What hurt you?" Like, I
Uh,
just don't get it.
but yeah, I know it's a lot of Call of Duty fans out there, and I'm not saying the game is trash, trash, trash. It's just, trash. So
Oh, okay. So it's just a single trash, not
yeah,
three.
it's just a
Gotcha.
single. It's not 3. It's not 3. Yeah. I feel like, if that's your lane, because I got friends that play it competitively, then yeah. But if you're looking for like something that's been innovative or something new, then nah, it's the same thing.
But
So
they invented zombies.
man. Black Ops 2 Zombies was the business. I don't even know like what the other games do now.
No, I don't know. I've never really played zombies, so I wouldn't know.
And since you brought it up, I'm
Hmm.
gonna just piggyback into it.
Mm-hmm.
I put Fortnite, but parentheses battle royal genre.
Mm-hmm.
I think they all overrated.
Well, they're just one of the hot things for it, and
Yeah, I feel
if you had talked to me a year or two ago, I would have been like, "Oh, it's gonna burn out in a year."
thought it was. I mean, Fortnite seemed like it's kind of losing gas now.
Well, it's losing gas, but I think what's really keeping its sustainability is the fact that most of these, if not all of them, I don't know of any that actually charge. They're all free.
Yeah.
And if you don't got the money to buy a game, then free is nice.
What was the other game that people were playing? It wasn't Fortnite.
Oh, PUBG.
Okay, I know they was playing PUBG, and then did Fortnite kill PUBG?
I mean, there's still like a dedicated fan base for PUBG,
Yeah.
but I haven't heard anything about them. Like the last thing I ever heard about PUBG was just, I think they were suing Fortnite or they were suing someone over, I think the phrase winner, winner, chicken dinner or using a frying pan as a weapon. I don't know. I'm not into those games, so I didn't really follow the news for it.
Apex, that's what I was thinking of.
Oh, Apex. Never honestly played that one.
I played it once, and my introduction to that game was we landed and my character froze. I can like do the little special abilities, but I couldn't move. And then and then a friend of mine, we were playing it together. It was his first time, it was my first time. He would just run around sliding. Then I was like, bro, can you just kill me? Like, somebody kill me so I can see if I can move. I ended up using it on my YouTube to just make a little funny video, like a little meme video of me playing it. I think it took me like having to quit the game or die or something. Then I was able to actually play. And then, I mean, only thing I enjoyed it was just laughing with people online. Because I really didn't get to kill anybody. I'm like, y'all too leveled up for me. Y'all done came over here from Fortnite. I'm good.
Nah, I have nothing I can say about that. I haven't played Apex. I haven't watched any videos on Apex. I am just in the dark when it comes to that game.
Monstrosity of a video.
All right, I'll check it out.
That's all
you still ain't gonna play it.
I wouldn't either. My nephew plays it, and he always be like, "Yeah, you can play this," and I'm like, "No, no, I'll watch you play it, but I'm good on that." And the whole battle royal genre as a whole, I feel like it's overrated. I'm not saying it's trash. I might not like it. I feel like the whole genre as a whole is like underrated. I mean, not underrated. Excuse me, overrated. It's really not. I don't see the big hype. Like, am I missing something here?
Like I said, I think
it
falls under the fact that it's free, and that really helps keep its player bases up and going.
Yeah, and then you have like most of these like popular streamers or YouTubers that played it or plays it. So everybody are like, hey, I want to be like this person, so I'm gonna play Fortnite or Apex or whatever's new, the Gulag.
You know what? Here's the thing I'll say: this little one-on-one. Actually, technically, that's in there. It's called Gunfight. Gulag is just the mode Gunfight, and I actually have fun with that. So it's got some good stuff in it. It's just I can't do it. And great little transition into this. A little bit of stretching in it, but. So my fourth one, or we're not even numbering these right now, is essentially any game by Bethesda, and what led into this was Fallout 76.
Okay, I agree with that, but any game?
Okay, I'm gonna say this: I enjoy games by Bethesda. Very rarely is it because of anything Bethesda did for it. They are great games for communities and getting into the mod scene. Yes.
Yep.
The problem I have with Bethesda games is that they've been given a free pass for too long, and okay, we're gonna put this game out and it's gonna be a buggy mess. Like I drew the line with them with Fallout New Vegas when essentially there was a glitch that would happen. I think when you did the To the Moon mission, or it was either before it or after it, something happened and it would corrupt your save and any saves you do after that.
Oh wow.
And I don't think it was To the Moon, because I think To the Moon was optional. I think it was a storyline quest. And if you were like me and you were trying to do everything in the story, or at this point very early on into the game, you didn't know how to, like, where to go after that without, looking it up online. I think maybe even the glitch would happen later on as well. And it would just corrupt your save. And I just remember this being such an issue that, one, it took them like 6 months to fix that glitch. Maybe even longer, I don't know. But I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm just gonna sell this game to GameStop, and I took it in, and they refused to take it. They're like, yeah, until this glitch is fixed, we're not taking this, for trade-in or anything like that. So now I got a game that I can't play, and I can't even sell it. So I'm a little bit salty.
Okay, that makes
And
sense.
the day I heard that they fixed that glitch, I waited like 2 more days, and then I immediately sold that game to GameStop. Because the fact that they fixed it made me go, I don't even want to play this. I was not a huge fan of Fallout 4 because I didn't like the route that they took where it became. I'm glad that they made the shooting far better.
Hmm.
And, I'd say is like on paper, everything about Fallout 4 is better than the previous games, except for how they handled the RPG elements. I don't like that they essentially removed the perk system, and now just when you level, you just automatically get a free point to put into any of these special perks. And I feel
Hmm.
like once you get to a really high level, you can basically unlock everything, which just makes you like amazing. And I liked in the original games you were capped at level 20, which meant when you were building your character,
You actually had to build.
yes, like
Hmm.
my build was always a sniper, specialized in long range rifles and revolvers and shotguns at close range, which meant, laser weapons I sucked at, which meant
Hmm.
robots were always a major pain for me. But I was built heavily around VATs. The likelihood of me killing something in VATs would refill my VATs, and then I had like Mysterious Stranger, who, if something happened, then 9 times out of 10 he would show up and blow the stuff away anyway.
Hmm.
And I didn't like that they cut down on dialogue options, and it was just like four very basic options that kind of became a trend in RPGs where we're not going to tell you exactly what your character's going to say. We're just going to give you a rough idea, and that rough idea is nice statement, neutral statement, dot dot dot, or or the dick statement.
Hmm.
And I don't like that. I've never liked that. I know they kind of tweaked it later, and I think you still only have the four statements, but now you know exactly what he's going to say. And really, the only reason I finished that game was when they put mods on the PS4 version. I put so many mods into that game, and I basically turned it into the horror game of my dreams. Like,
I'm gonna need
what'd
I'm
you say?
gonna need you to come do that to mine because
Yeah, you're going to need to clear out some space because I think like a solid third of my system was held up by mods.
how much space? Because I have external hard drive.
Oh, then you'll be fine, hopefully. But like I know I changed it so the landscape was more like it wasn't all a desert. Like where we
Hmm.
currently live, I'm surrounded by the desert already. I don't need more desert.
True.
And so everything was more like overgrown forests. I made the days like I think I shortened them by 50%. I made the nights 50% longer and 50% darker.
Oh dang.
So it was night for much longer. It made the flashlight a requirement. And then I just went in and I did the find and replace mod and turned every enemy except for bosses into ghouls,
Oh
and it
wow.
became this like great horror game. The only problem with it is when you're first leaving your shelter and you're fighting rad roaches.
Hmm.
Yeah, that game's not balanced to have ghouls at the very beginning, because I turned all of those rat roaches into ghouls. But no, like, I made the game fun that way. Same thing with Skyrim, as I modded Skyrim to be crazy, and with custom classes and custom characters and Randy Macho Man Savage Dragons and things like that.
Wow. Wow.
And it's just like, I get that Bethesda would try, but I remember there was like a glitch that they would fix, and it would make it so that arrows couldn't hurt dragons, and for whatever reason the dragons would fly backwards. So it's like they kept screwing up their games more the more they tried. And then 76 was a thing. It's like,
No, it
oh, well, we're
wasn't.
just gonna take the engine of 4. What'd you say?
No, it wasn't. I said no, it wasn't.
Uh, but like, I just remember seeing the E3 things, and it's like I remember there were people that were excited for 76. I was like, why? Why are you excited for it? Oh, it's Fallout with other people. Okay, I'm
The
fine with that.
concept I was excited for
I wasn't.
because I
It's
was
like
like,
there's no
I get to get
NPCs.
on Fallout, and I get to play with like my peeps. So I was like, cool. And then like once they start like layering out details, like so is nobody I'm talking to on there.
I would
No
like to point out
NPCs.
you're like, oh, I get to play with my friends. It's a Bethesda game. No, you're not, because you know it's going to be buggy.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I've never
know you're going to see your friend standing right next to you, but in actuality, they're like a quarter mile up the road. And PvP was broken. PvP could have been amazing in 76, and it was just broken because it's like if somebody shoots you, it requires them to shoot back at you in order to initiate PvP, but by them attacking you back, that technically gives them, again, the advantage by them being able to damage you before damaging them. I mean, people did some interesting things. I like the murder houses people created. Build a house full of like flamethrowers and say like free stuff inside, and then they would just kill other players. And I thought it was cool that players that really were into the game, decided to go, well, since this game has no real content, players became bosses. So that was actually kind of neat.
You're a better man than me.
But like, what's some of the other stuff in it that when people realized that the codes for the nuke at the very end of the game weren't necessarily randomized? So if you just pulled up a list of them, you could launch that final nuke at any given point in the game, and the final boss's health was determined by whoever launched the nuke. So a lot of people would just bring a low-level player with them to launch that nuke to get the boss at super low HP.
Wow.
They just did a bunch of things. You can tell their survival games were really popular at the time, so that's what they were piggybacking off of. You'll be at least happy to know that they did add NPCs.
Nah, I don't care. I don't care what they had. I was done. I was like, nope. I'm still holding a grudge because I never got to finish Fallout 4. I got to a certain mission. I completed the mission.
And then you got bored and turned it off. Yeah, I did the same thing a lot of times.
No. It glitched. So a person was supposed to come that was supposed to like clear me from the mission that lets me like continue the main story. And they never came. So my mission is just stuck there.
See, the problem is that you're calling that a bug and you're calling that whatever. That's a feature.
Yeah, it probably is. Exclusive.
Like, here's the thing, and that happens. The game's now unwinnable, which means you can't finish it, which means endless content for you.
Nope, endless. Oh no, just one delete.
No, like, that's kind of always been the route. And like I said, Bethesda games have always been buggy, like all the way back to the original Elder Scrolls. And
I remember my Skyrim got bugged too. I don't remember what mission it was, but you go into water and it just it bricks. And I was like, what is it? It was a certain mission that you have to go under. I think you're in a cave and you have to walk through this water, and for some reason it'll just freeze there and you'll be done. And then I remember I didn't play it for months, and then I finally cut it on because my friend was begging me in Georgia. And I was like, see, I'm stuck. And then, he did something extraordinary. He pressed circle. And for some reason, he, crouched or whatever and let me move. I was like, oh, wow. Delete. Amazing. I didn't delete it. I didn't delete it. I think my system ended up breaking anyway, so it got rid of it for me. But yeah, okay, I'll give you Bethesda. I'll give you that because their history.
Now, I'll say Bethesda as like a publisher, Doom 2016, Doom Eternal. I love those games. If that's all they do, if they keep publishing really good games, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't want to touch anything that they developed.
I'm going to need those. Nah, I don't know if I'm going to need those mods. I might just delete it.
If you got the game, you can just pull them up. You just got to install the game first. And
I think it's still on my system. I'm looking at it now. But
I can at least get you a list of them.
I don't know. I'll probably just delete it.
The only thing you have to worry about with mods is there's a chance you're going to make a buggy game even buggier.
Yeah, I'm just going to delete it. Appreciate it, though. Appreciate it. Okay, I guess I'll jump into another one. I feel like everything I'm saying, people are going to be like, where's the dislike button at?
No, I think my last one's going to be the one that finally makes them. They're just going to flag this video.
They're going to be like, yeah, what was his YouTube channel? Another overrated game for me, and I have a reason behind this, but I ain't gonna add any extra. Destiny.
Okay.
Now, when Destiny first released, I got the game. I played the game. Played the limited story that they had. The production and the marketing around this game it's supposed to have it's supposed to be like Borderlands on steroids. It's a big old massive game. Just endless cycle of weapons. and you know, it was by Bungie and Halo, you know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be this big old revolutionary game, and I get the game. The weapons were not unlimited. I'm like, I feel like it's capped. Um, the game was very short. It was areas you find in the game that you know that's in the game, but they got it locked. So I'm like, oh, they're gonna release it when they get a DLC.
I mean, they did.
Eventually. So like you beat the game and then you pretty much be bored, and then they lost a lot of their fan base because people usually they traded it and they got off of it. And then eventually they came back and added DLC, fixed some stuff, added more weapons, started doing a little trials and everything. But at that point, I was way gone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, and sold the game. I'm like, yo, like I bought a game to have like a complete experience. Y'all gave me limited experience. I mean, it wasn't nothing to brag about. Then you fast forward to part 2, which was even worse. I was like, yo, this game, like they took some of the elements out of what they fixed in the first one. And they gave us 2, which was shorter. The story sucked.
I can't say much. Like everything you've named, I've had very little like contact with.
I think the legendary weapons, I think you can only equip one. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was like not weapons or armor or something. You can only have like one instead of like a whole different, like a whole set. I don't know.
Well, I know there was some controversy in the game when it came to like the skins or the color swatches for it. Like instead of just giving you a like, oh, here's a purple swatch and you make your all of your armor purple, it's like you need one like, oh, here's for your helmet, here's for your arm, here's for your legs. Like you needed a different one for each. And like the general complaint I heard was that it seemed like it was very built to like nickel and dime you on microtransactions.
Yeah. I didn't like how you saying like each part. Like I can have like some. I'm just gonna like name say epic weapon or epic like armor, and I'll have like the whole suit that's epic, and then you can only have like the one like the legendary headset to the armor. It couldn't be like legendary from head to toe.
Oh, okay.
I was like, that's dumb.
I just know I played a little bit of the first one. Never made it very far into it. I just wasn't super impressed by it. Never played the second one. I know you can play at least the base game for free.
Yeah.
And even then, for the most part, most of the stuff people told me was like it was less to do with, oh, the game is really fun, and more like, hey, we really like that Nolan North robot. Or not Nolan North, that Nathan Fillion robot.
Yeah, they got rid of Tyrion from Game of Thrones. But yeah, I don't know. Second game was even worse for me. I'm like, bro, we can't do legendary armor. The weapons are not to die for. And I was doing everything. I was doing PvP, playing it with friends. It was like, yo, this is not it.
You need to tell your friends to start playing some better games.
It was like I had a friend, I ain't gonna name him on here, but he like I think he bought the game for like a few people. That's how I got it because I didn't buy it.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, because I'm not buying this crap. So he gave it to us because he wanted us all playing. And that's why we were playing it. And once we like beat it, and I was like, should I even make other characters? Like, it's kind of whack. And I'm like, we're about to repeat it again. Like now I see people on Destiny and they're like, oh, it's a completely different game. It's amazing now. Why did it take this long? I don't buy a game to wait to play it like 4 years down the line.
Do you have another one, or you want me to keep going?
Nah, I think I'm gonna piggyback off you.
Okay, I'm trying to think. So I got 2. I'm going back and forth between what I want to talk about. I'm trying to choose the one. Okay, I think this one will upset people the least because it's kind of a niche game.
I probably won't even know what it is, but go ahead.
It's on PS2. Rule of Rose.
Rule of Rose. I'm actually going to have to look that one up.
So it's an expensive game, but I
probably don't have it.
I've always been under the belief that just because something is expensive, that doesn't make it good. Now, the story in Rule of Rose is great. I love it. If this was a movie or a TV show, 10 out of 10.
It looks like looking at these pictures remind me of what is that game? What is the game? I just played Remothered. There we go.
It kind of the same style and the same setting. You do have like a weapon to defend yourself. You might as well not be because your character's useless. And it's just buggy to an extent of, well, not buggy, just badly designed. Like if you look at an enemy's attack animation, you're like, okay, this is where I need to not be to get hit. But he's got like an invisible hitbox around him.
Mm-hmm.
So even if he's like swinging to the front of him, if you're off to the right, that box will extend out to there and you get hit. It's very easy with bosses to get stuck in like a stun lock and just die. What's another one? Anyone that's played this knows the mermaid boss.
I want to look this up.
You know, a quick little shout out to Nitrorad on YouTube. If you want to know about this game and you don't want to chalk up the money for it and you don't want to emulate it, check out his video on it. He did a great job. And he's going to have a lot of the same complaints that I did. The story in itself is the sole reason to play it. It is great. I do think it's a really good game. If they re-released it digitally in some way or we got a remaster, which I don't even... Oh, it's Atlas. Atlas is publishing this, or published this game. If they still have the rights to publish it, re-release it, charge like 10 or 15 bucks, or completely remaster it and charge full price and just fix some of its issues. And I'd say it's worth playing, but this game goes on. Do me a favor. Can you go to price charting?
All right, let me go there. I see a title right now. It says, Rule of Rose, a flawed masterpiece that you will never play.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I even see at the bottom it says Rule of Rose would have made a phenomenal 10 out of 10 film. So you hit it right on the point. And you say go where now?
Price charting. I'm on their site right now, actually.
Yeah, I hear your keyboard over there.
Hey. That's how you tell like the skill of a true gamer. The more annoying your keyboard is.
$132.
Oh no, that's for the Japanese copy of it, and that's for just the cost of the disc. If you scroll down to the very bottom,
174.
174 for just the disc. If you click on it, look at how much the cost of this thing is.
Does that say 562?
For a used copy of it, complete.
$901 for a new one.
Yes. I mean, just look at that. If you want just the manual for this game, like, do I have the manual for this game? Hold on. I do have the manual for this game, and I did not pay $562 for this game. I didn't pay anywhere near $562. I'm not going to say how much.
That's a tax write-off. We're not doing
here's the thing. For the people who want to see it, maybe I'll stream this one.
If you really streaming it and I'll watch it, I'll be in the stream.
But it's like the manual alone for this game is $145.
No.
Again, if this was a movie or a TV show or they re-release this game onto the digital marketplace, 100% play it. It's too expensive. No game, in my opinion, is worth $562.
Why is it so expensive?
It only, at least I know in the US, it only had one run, and it's really controversial because the basic reason why is that there was a lot of like misinformation, and they were like, oh, you're killing children in it. The children are the antagonists in it, and you're playing as someone who I think she's supposed to be like 18 or 19, but you're kind of stuck in like a universe kind of thing that they created, and you have to follow their rules. And in a lot of cases, like there's like a scene where you get like shoved in a bag and they like beat you and then try to like bury you alive. There's really only one part I would say that's truly, it's the only part I think where they're like, oh, you kill children, and that's again the mermaid boss, where it's a child that was turned into like a surgical style mermaid kind of thing. And I don't even remember if she was a child or not. But the children are the villains in this. The children are the bad people in this. That's the closest thing. If I had to actually compare it to anything, is like grim fairy tales and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Same tone as those, where 100 years ago these were perfect for children, and nowadays you're like, what the hell is going on in these? You're like Cinderella, and it's like, yeah, she got with the prince in the Disney version, but what happened to the aunt or the evil stepmother? Oh, she heated up some shoes and then forced them on her feet. Okay, children. Little Mermaid, Hans Christian Andersen, she dies and turns to sea foam. Okay. We got some stuff going on here. It's a very dark fantasy. Feels very much like an early like fairy tale.
I've never heard of this before.
And like I said, with Persona becoming more popular, especially going on to Steam, I would love to see Atlas, if they still have the rights, re-release this in some way. Just giving people the option to play it is great. And I do think some of this, price increase might have to do with, like, the game has always been expensive to get secondhand, but I think, the worldwide pandemic that YouTube won't let us name might have something to do with that, because every retro game or every older game has started shooting up in price. I recently got into an argument with an eBay seller saying, like, you're selling something for more than the cost of it being brand new, and he's like, well, it sold for this before on eBay and our copy is in really good condition. I was like, is it new condition? Because if not, then I'm not paying that.
I hear that. That's crazy. I've never heard of that. I don't know. You probably have like a cult following, or
Oh,
cult
it
people
has
that'll be like, you know what? They might come for you, but I have no I have no comments on it because I've never even seen this. I've seen
again,
like, what is it, Obscure?
obscure, yes.
Yeah,
That game's becoming kind of expensive too.
yeah, I had that.
The that and like Haunting Ground. Haunting
Mm.
Ground is like the opposite. I love Haunting Ground. That's another one I'd like to see come back and get re-released. Still not worth the cost. There's a store here in Arizona that has a used copy of it that they're selling for 400, and I wouldn't call that unreasonable. Still, no game is worth that much.
I agree.
But I got a copy of that too. Not trying to brag or anything, but
Yeah, he is. Wow, flex.
all
You
right.
like play it like a sound cue right there when you be flexing.
Oh, I'm doing it right now. I don't know what
Play
you're
like
talking
a
about.
play like a Don DeMarco or something. All right,
All
what's your
right.
last one?
Oh, I got two more after, or I got two more. Where are you getting
Oh,
the last one from?
I thought
Uh,
you did like 3 or
nah,
4.
nah. Like originally it was four, but then I remembered Life is Strange as a thing.
You got disrespectful right out the gate.
So this next one, this is something I would like to emphasize. Just like Rule of Rose, I don't think these games are bad.
You gotta put a disclaimer.
I don't think this is bad because these next two I know are going to upset certain people.
I don't want to hear him.
So the next one for me is Shenmue.
Oh yeah, I remember you did say Shenmue. Oh yeah, you gonna get a lot of people in your head for this one.
So here's the thing. Shenmue for its time was amazing. But here we are in 2020, and it took them, I don't even know how long it took them to finally release Shenmue 3. And I know for a fact people were upset with Shenmue 3. I got no comments on that one. Haven't really had a chance to play that one. I do want to stream Shenmue 1, 2, and 3 in like succession, but I also feel like that would drive me like insane.
Again, I'll watch it.
But let me put it like this. Shenmue 20 years ago was innovative. It was interesting. You had all your NPCs, they were all on their path. They had a day life, and like if you learned their pathing, you learned almost like who they were.
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of busy work you had to do in these things, like if it told you it's like, oh yeah, I'll be at my store at 6 o'clock, that's cool. Meet him there at 6 o'clock in the game. Not
Mm-hmm.
6 o'clock in real life. That's at least kind of nice to know. You don't have to wait until 6 p.m. real time. If it's like 10 a.m. in the game, you better find something to kill, 8 hours of game time, which I think that'd probably be like 20 or 30 minutes worth of waiting
Mm-hmm.
around and doing stuff, and hope you're not late, because then you're going to be waiting another 24 hours. And that was never really changed or evolved. And the problem is with Shenmue is, I would say it'd even still be innovative today if we didn't have the Yakuza series.
That makes
And
sense.
and I am a diehard Yakuza fan. And when I say like Yakuza is the spiritual successor to Shenmue, I believe it 100%. Especially for the fact that one of the guys who worked on Shenmue, not Yu Suzuki, he kind of went off and did his thing and just didn't make a game for 20 years. Then when he released Shenmue 3, he admitted, I didn't look at modern day game trends for making my game, which
Oh, okay.
answers a lot.
You can tell.
But I can't remember his name. But he was the director of Yakuza. He worked on the Shenmue game. So he kind of did like the same thing. Like Shenmue was meant to save Sega and their Dreamcast, and they gave a guy way too much money and they made a lot of decisions. I don't feel that the Dreamcast in itself was the reason why Sega failed. I think it was a long amount of bad decisions. Shenmue did not help save them, though. I'm trying to think. But, Yakuza exists now. Yakuza, to me, is the true evolution of what they were trying to do with Shenmue. It has a lot of the same stuff. Like, here's your really dense world, not the biggest, but a lot of stuff to do in it. They took out all the, waiting around and doing nothing stuff. Great combat system, a little bit buggy in the early ones. It's gotten a lot better for it. I will say Shenmue, the fact that they built it off of the Virtual Fighter engine, fighting in
Hmm.
Shenmue was a lot of fun. I just think, people need to move on. You know what? I will say this when they said that Shenmue is getting I think it's a Crunchyroll or a Prime anime series. Now, I don't know what it's supposed to be. I think it's like they're adapting the first game and the second game and the third game, and then hopefully he's going to finish it after that. Because I know 3 does not finish the story. But I feel at this point, it's like, no, this doesn't need to be a game anymore. I want to see the ending to Shenmue. I just don't want to have to play the games to see that ending.
Okay.
I'm all for the anime that's set to come out. I'm going to watch that if the anime is 12 seasons because he was planning for like 12 chapters or something like that, I'll watch all 12 of them as long as they remain good. But it's bad decision after bad decision made with these things. He didn't, choose to advance for the third game. He In the previous games, I don't know if this is true or if he was just joking or if it was a rumor. When it came to him choosing the English voice actors, because Yu does not speak English from what I'm told,
Hmm.
and he chose English voice actors based on how close those voice actors looked like the characters they were voicing. That's not good.
Yeah, I heard that game as well. A lot of people that played it said it was boring and bad, but
I think it's a very special type of person that needs to play or that enjoys Shenmue, and I was one of those people. I
I'm
do
talking about
have.
three though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know they did something where they changed the combat, which just seems like blasphemy to me because the combat was one of the best parts of Shenmue. But that's really all I have to say about it. It's, I don't the first game really doesn't sell for a ton. If you want to play, you can find it. Get it on the Dreamcast, get 2 on the Xbox, get 3 on the PS3 or the Xbox or the computer, or buy I know they re-released Shenmue 1 and 2 in like HD. If you really want to play these games, go out and play them. I
No,
think they're worth playing, but
I played them
just
back then.
yeah, just
There's certain games that I'll go back and like revisit, like Dragoons, of course. Um, like certain games I'll go back and revisit, but every game,
nah.
nah. I'll watch people though. Like you streaming it, or if I'm at your house or something, you playing it, yeah. But me, nah, nah.
the the best part of playing Shenmue, and I'd say even the best part of about Yakuza was the side missions that not even the side missions, just the stuff you could do around town. Like I may not be in the mood to replay Yakuza, but
Mm-hmm.
you can continue to play the game after you finished it to do side stuff. The fact that it has an arcade with actual arcade games in it, so I can play Virtual Fighter or I can play Future Zone, I think is what it's called, or there's claw machines, or there's a golf mini game, or dart. If you're to play Yakuza Zero. It has the most stuff that you can do in it. Like I got obsessed with the little mini stock car racing. I don't care about stock cars. I don't care about racing at all. I got sucked into that for like a good solid 10 or 15 hours just learning what I needed to do and how to like modify my little race car to make it better and not fly off the track.
Mm-hmm.
Same with like golf games in general. I hate golf in real life, but I will play some golf games for some reason, especially some arcadey style ones.
Jumping, putting the cart in front of the horse. I want. I'm waiting to see what this last one is because you said this one won't get that much flack. So I want to know what the last one is. Don't say anything, Soulsborne. Thank you.
No, it's nothing to do with Soulsborne.
All right, cool. We good. We good. You
No,
can continue.
and people who listened to the last episode, you're basically going to hear a bunch of repeats from me now, and that's again, I think this game is solid. I think this game on paper is very good. I think aspects of it haven't aged well. I'm just so tired of hearing about it. I'm so tired of it getting sequels, and I'm so tired that this thing is going to be in the media for probably another decade because we're not going to get an ending to this anytime soon. I'm tired of Final Fantasy VII.
Okay,
I'm
yeah, I
tired.
knew you were going there.
I'm tired of the overrated thing. Like, I'm a Final Fantasy fan, and I think 7 is solid. I think the materia system has some depth to it, but the trade-off is that all of your characters, not storyline wise, but playstyle, are kind of blank slates. I think watching people speedrun it is kind of neat, but I keep trying. I'm like, maybe this year I'll get it, and I'll finally love this game. I don't love this game. I'm tired of Cloud. I'm tired of people being upset that Aerith died. I'm really tired of Sephiroth. I don't. I'm sorry. Sephiroth is not a badass. Sephiroth finds out, oh, I'm a fake human. I was grown in a lab, and I'm suddenly evil. No, I'm tired of that.
Sephiroth.
Huh?
Sephiroth.
Uh, and I'm gonna say this right here. I hated in the remake that like 15, 20 minutes into playing it, they blow their load with Sephiroth and show him right there at the very beginning.
Sephiroth.
and and they just make him this like super big deal in the remake. The remake, what they did for their story kind of bugged me a lot more than it probably should have by just how important they made him so much earlier on. I think him being a background thing of, just giving me some of the flashbacks I would have been fine with, building him up into it, but you fight him and he becomes a Kingdom Heart boss by the end of the remake. I think really lowered down on what Sephiroth is supposed to be.
Spoiler warning to those who have not played and beat the game.
The people who want to play and beat this game have played and beat this game.
All right, except for people on Xbox. But my bad, y'all. I didn't mean to take that shot.
That's their fault, not mine. You chose the wrong system. Again, all you can play is Call of Duty because that's the only thing you get on your system right now.
Hey man, don't come for the bots, all right? They're about to call you a pony.
A pony?
Yeah, they don't think you a Sony guy.
Oh, okay. Now let me say this. I used to be like a diehard Xbox fan.
See, you hear that?
Like,
he used to be a diehard bot.
Yeah, I used to be like a really big fan of them up until my third Xbox 360.
Oh yeah.
And they kept red ringing, and I was like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'll buy a PS3. Never really looked back on it. I bought a PS4. I have an Xbox One. It's still in storage since I moved because I haven't had much of a reason to hook it up.
I thought you had it like a kickstand or a prop to a table or something. I don't want to jump down that tangent. We can say that for another another episode. But what I was alluding to is if you beat Final Fantasy VII, the remake, I think this is just this is a different universe. So it may vastly be different going forth, as they alluded to, from you basically destroying Fate, getting your God of War on. And
you mean that metaphor people are saying that you fought against the fans?
And yeah. That was the fans wanting the original stuff to be original, and you went against all that, and you like, no, new year, new me. So,
but I'll say this for the fans who don't like that, you still got the original game. You can still enjoy it. I've got my own theory for the game that may or may not be with it. I feel this is just me. And again, here's spoilers if you haven't played it. To the much older game, when Cloud kind of ends up, and you kind of go into Cloud's head after he gets, put in the wheelchair and he falls into the Mako stream and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
My theory is that everything prior to that in the game, so all of this first game, is Cloud remembering what's happening. So that's where, because we're seeing like at the very end they show you flash forwards to stuff that happens later in the game, that if you didn't know anything from the previous game, that was my other problem, is this was not this for them to say, this is a Final Fantasy game for like new people to get into, and for the old fans, there was a lot of stuff that was shown in that you only have context for if you played the original.
But then again, no, keep going.
Well, I was gonna say, who's the idea of we're changing fate again only makes sense if you know what's supposed to happen. So I kind of like the idea that if it's Cloud in his weird little comatose state and he's trying to put his own memories back together.
I mean, that'll make more sense, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Oh no, it's probably not.
I feel like that's Sephiroth that was in the Mako stream that came back.
Oh yeah,
Cloud couldn't do nothing with him.
And then, but
they're on the moon.
Here's the thing: if I'm right, and in like a decade when we get this final game, I will shout out, call it. I will bust everyone's eardrums.
But I'll see you just laying at the house.
I mean, that's if people let me live long enough, because how dare I insult Final Fantasy VII?
I mean, the remake. Come on, man. Come on. Like I said in the last episode, so if y'all haven't seen that, check it out. No, I'm not, kicking Final Fantasy, but I'm just saying the remake was a one-time play only. Like you play it.
Says the guy who platinumed it.
Yeah, I mean, and it was hard. That was very hard. I mean, I was making content too, but you play it and you enjoy it. You get the nostalgia. You see the changes. You like, oh, they going against, supposedly the fans, and they might change it. Okay. And then, that's it. Like, if you play that, then you'll probably have a decent experience. If you go back, per se, and platinum it like I did, then no, you're going to hate it. Because the second time around, they talk too much. I hate that I got to walk around and listen to you talk about some stuff. I'm like, can I just skip this dialogue? I'm just trying to get a platinum. I don't want to hear this.
And I think this is what I kind of want to, say about it is that what bothers me with 7, and it's nothing to do with the game. It's not even anything to do with the audience. I hate that when people have like a conversation, they're like, hey, if I want to get into Final Fantasy, which one should I play? And it's always 7. Every article I read, they say it's 7. 7 is the great. No, there's other ones. 7 is really, I'd say easily obtainable.
Yeah, 7 is the biggest marketing one.
Like I would say, a really good one also would be like.
I think it's 3.
Are you talking about American 3 or like on the Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
Okay, that's Final Fantasy like 6 for everyone else, and 6 is a good solid one to go on. I personally like 4, or I think it was released here as Final Fantasy 2. This is going to destroy any credibility I just said about why 7 is bad. I like 8. I would not recommend 8.
I knew you was going to say that, but
I like it for all of its problems. I like how stupid it is. I like how broken it is. I like everything about it. It is not good. I would never recommend that one to people. I think 9 is solid for a good starting point. I think 10 is solid for a starting point.
9 is my favorite.
The MMOs, not so much, unless you like MMOs. Then yeah, I think 14 is a good spot to jump into if you like MMOs. If you like
14 was fun though.
Oh, I didn't know you played the MMO.
Yeah, I played it when it was like free for so many months. I think I had it like 3 or 6 months. It was free.
Oh, when it was broken.
And I played that and I was beasting. And then I think that's
when they reset the universe.
Yeah, I think that's when I first that's when I I went through some struggles, got a little broke, and they turned it into where you have to start paying for it. And I was like, I can't pay for it. I can't even pay my bills right now. So, yeah, I haven't played it ever since. I wanted to, but it was like, now I'm too far behind.
Well, if you want to jump into Realm Reborn, I'll play that with you. I like that one.
Let me get a PC.
It's on PS4 also.
Yeah, I know. Let me get a PC.
I would recommend playing it on PC. I started it on PC and then I bought the PS4 version was on sale, and I'm probably gonna rebuy it on PC and transfer all my stuff over.
I have fun on PS4 though, but
and the other ones, I probably would not recommend 15. Like 13 I wouldn't recommend. 15 I wouldn't recommend for beginners.
Nah, not for beginners, no. I'll probably tell them to play 9.
Yeah, I think 9 is solid. Like if you like fantasy, 9 is solid. Like if you like standard, like when you think of fantasy,
yeah,
I think that's good. If you want something that's steampunky, then you have 6. If you
like blonde, big sword people and Sephiroth,
then you can play 15, because that's Beautiful Boy Adventure.
I was gonna say you can watch the movie. But you'll still be confused. You'll be like, who's this chick with hands?
Hey, you can watch the movie, but you have to remember that movie is no longer canon. So if you're someone that's wanting to get into 7, you might as well just jump into the new 7 and just ignore all this other stuff. Right. That movie is canon to the old Final Fantasy 7.
Yes.
Same with like Crisis Core.
Hey, yeah, because now it looks like Zack is just walking around alive.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing: like even then, if you wanted to play like a Final Fantasy game, I would actually really recommend Crisis Core if you can get your hands on it.
Crisis Core is amazing.
I thought it was a little broken because it felt like you leveled up randomly via that slot machine. But in terms of it just being a fun game, it was a fun game.
You got to meet Genos and Angel and Sephiroth scrapping it out.
I don't hate that version of Sephiroth in that game either. Like,
yeah, he was cool then.
Like we got to actually know him a little bit better and see that he was actually a badass.
Yeah.
And unlike what we got in the other ones where it's like, well, Now, I will say this for the old game. They did build up Sephiroth well. Like, he was just there in the background. You're trying
Yeah.
to do what you're doing, and he, like, just offs a guy that you've been trying to get to for hours, and you're like, no, and he's supposed to be dead. And, like, you are, like, 8 to 10 hours into this game before you even get to see what this guy looks like, and they build him up.
Yeah, I feel like they crammed a lot in their gumbo on this one to try to get all the feels. Like, we gotta have Sephiroth here. Because I was like, when I first seen the trailer, it's like one of my biggest like viewed
Hmm.
videos since they took my last one off. So it was a reaction to the trailer. And I know one of the Final Fantasy trailers I reacted to, I was like asking questions, and some people got mad about that. They got aggroed about that because I was like, wait a minute, why is this person here? And wait a minute, did they meet here? I'm like, I could have sworn they met later. And they were like, it is a new game. I was like, bro, I was asking questions. Like, calm down, calm down. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll even say this for the newest one. The really big complaint I had is when they announced it's like, oh, Midgar is going to be the entirety of this first game. I was like, well, there goes your pacing because I just said, oh,
Yeah.
the pacing in this thing is going to come to an end. You're just going to be doing a bunch of random side crap that nobody cares about. And you're probably going to be meeting some characters that, again, nobody cares about. And I just remember I talked to people on Twitter or on anything like that. And they're like, oh, you just need to wait until the game comes out. I can have an opinion before it comes out. And what I think bothers you, like if you think I'm wrong, then go ahead, say I'm wrong. Don't get on there and try and attack me because the only reason I feel that someone would be that upset is because they know, at least in the back of their mind, that I'm probably right or that there is a good chance that I'm gonna be right.
I was excited at first. So I'm like, yo, we get to see some extras, layers of Midgar. No. I thought it was going to be like some extra stuff, like the same
Well, no,
story.
you got to see where Jesse grew up at,
Yeah, we got to see Jesse, the
and you got to ride a motorcycle again.
and Cloud didn't go inside her house,
Yeah.
even though I tried to walk back in there. Yeah, and then someone survived at the end of it that did not survive in the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that
Yeah.
we know of. We don't know that he didn't survive. They just never confirmed with us that he lived.
No, he got up. Well, yeah,
No.
he was
I'm saying
dead.
in the
In the
original
original,
game.
he was dead. He was sleeping with Aerith, both in the earth. And if y'all ain't played Final Fantasy, I'm sorry, you listening to this, you made it this far, and you like, oh my gosh, Aerith! Like, come on, you should have known. You should have known. No spoiler warning need to be given at this point. Aerith dies. Okay, next.
But she's alive in Kingdom Hearts. So she. Oh, maybe that's how it's in because the guy that worked on the new Final Fantasy games is the same guy who works on Kingdom Hearts. So maybe Kingdom Hearts is going to be canon to these new ones, and that's why Aerith is alive in Kingdom Hearts but dead in Final Fantasy VII. Again, if in like 10 years this ends up being correct.
No, we're not. We're not doing that.
And then at the very end of the game, like Goofy and Donald rush in, and they're in like hyper realistic looking detail, and they look like really weird deformed furries. And you just end up
What
going up there,
rabbit
and
hole are you going down? Come back into the light.
I'm calling it. That is my prediction. The reason,
She's probably
if
not
they
going down.
keep Aerith alive, the reason is so that she can be in the Kingdom Hearts games. Long story short,
Watch.
this is how Final Fantasy ended up in Disney.
Cloud and Sephiroth gonna team up in this one.
God, I hope not.
He already alluded to it. He was like, we could team up this time.
I was reading like online, there's some people out there who are like, well, if they're breaking the games up into this, we want the entire second game to just be the flashback sequence.
Ugh. Why?
I was like, why would you want that? So now I just get to play as basically what you're saying is you want to play a game where it's Zack, then just play Crisis Core. Just play Crisis Core and then just don't finish it at the very end. And you'll have, what'd you say?
I don't know what I'm gonna do now when it comes to Final Fantasy.
You're gonna play it.
I'm gonna play it, but I don't know. Like, is it gonna be like extension to this one, or is it gonna be a whole nother like I gotta platinum that one?
Well, you don't have to platinum them. You choose to do that.
Well, it was calling me. All right, the platinum was calling me. You gotta have your ear to the street. When you have your ear to the street, it'd be like, K-Ray, huh? Like, what's that? Get this platinum. Whoa. It just whispered sweet nothings in my ear, so I had to.
You know what? Yeah, but like I said, they're tying into that Kingdom Hearts, so you're gonna have to jump on that series next. You
Actually,
only,
I already beat one. I was actually playing that before.
oh, you only beat one of them. There's like 12 more you got to get through.
Well, I actually beat like a few, but I have to beat the stupid PSP one, and I didn't. I can't. It's rough right now, so it's on the back burner. But I'll get through them eventually. I'm gonna have PS5
K-Ray
games and
confirms that
this.
Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy are tied in via this new remake.
No, no, they're not. We're not seeing Goofy. We're not seeing Donald. We ain't seeing nobody. Hercules, Hades, nobody.
It has
Maybe
been
in
confirmed
God
that
of War.
Donald is one of the most powerful mages in all of Final
Ah,
Fantasy. He can
yeah, right.
cast like I think it's like Omega Flare or something, which
Yeah.
only like 3 people in all of the Final Fantasy games have ever actually done. He is an Omega level wizard. Canonically confirmed, Donald is the one of the 3 most powerful wizards in all of Final Fantasy. He will show up. He will save the day. Cloud will probably be unconscious. If my theory that Cloud, this is all taking place in Cloud's head, all of a sudden Goofy, Sora, and Donald are just going to show up.
Nope, it's not gonna happen.
You're going to come back to me. Like I said, in 10 years, you're going to come back and you're going to be like,
And I'm
Snitches, you're right.
gonna be like, yo, can we play that video? And you came up with this wild theory that wasn't gonna happen. I want you to listen to it. And you're gonna be like, what's that? What's that? Was I on something? What did I eat that day? Did I not get any sleep?
It's you see, here's the thing. You're only thinking in 3 dimensions. You got to move into that fourth dimension plane. And really, you just got to think, what is the stupidest thing that they could ever do? And what is something that they would never do? And I'm incredibly jaded as it is. I would say in most cases, I'm like, what is the dumbest thing that they could do? That.
It's not gonna happen. But I appreciate you. I appreciate all that thought you put into it.
But
Who but you?
what'd you say?
I said, who but you?
Nah. But I mean that ends off on my list. I don't have anything else unless you
Ah,
do.
nope. I was piggybacking off you on the last two because all I can think of off the top is the ones I listed. I really couldn't do it. But when we jump into our other topics, yeah, I'm good to go.
All right. Well, everyone, this finishes up the second episode of the Retro and Remastered podcast. Again, my name is Snitchesz, and you can find me on Twitter at SnitchesRR. Where can they find you at, K-Ray?
Well, you can find me on all social media at KWire Gaming. I do got a YouTube channel. You can same name KWire Gaming, where it's all things games. I do reactions, do guides, reviews, let's plays, all the jazz. Uh, Again, like I said in the beginning of the episode, channel got hit with some copyright strikes from the copyright gods, and so right now we're in limbo. We're in limbo. So, but you can still enjoy. It's like 200 videos on the channel. Well, probably 199 now since they took one down. But it's a nice little catalog. You can get to know who I am and enjoy some games. Also, find me on Twitch, K_Ray06. K_Ray06. And I do not have a schedule at the time. I just pop in and pop out.